I told Stan that I was tired of penciling. I thought I was burned out. In 1965, I thought I was finished. And I said, oh, ink, you know, I can help you that way. If you give me pencils, I can polish them up a little bit. So first thing he did was pull out a DareDevil assignment and said, could I help him out in an emergency? And I was a sap my whole life. I was what I call a good soldier. And I said, sure, if you need help, I'll help you out with that. Fully expecting I'll go back to inking after I finish this one DareDevil story. Of course, that lasted 6 months, I think. I did DareDevil, and I started to like it, thanks to Jack Kirby's indoctrination with breakdowns. This is the original black and white art, penciled by me, written by Stan Lee, and then inked by me. This is the first splash I did in DareDevil. When I brought in that pencil, Stan accepted this splash, but the pages immediately following it were a little bit quiet and slow moving. So Jack Kirby was called and inducted into the sequence. Stan Lee had elevated the art of communicating with the readers on a page called the bullpen page. He was apologizing, if you read it, for the slowness of the start. But just wait till you get to page 3. That's where Jack Kirby took over. This is the Jack Kirby influence. In other words, instead of taking his clothes off and neatly folding them and putting them on a rack, he takes his clothes off, he quickly gets dressed, he prepares, and he leaps out the window without even looking. And he just hopes he's going to find a flagpole or something to land on. Almost immediately, after seeing the way he paced it, how nothing is slow moving, everything is quick, bang, 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 I caught on almost immediately. Stan didn't have enough time to script all of these things in advance, otherwise he would have. So what he did was, he would verbally or quickly dash out a half-a-page plot and send it to the artist. Mostly it was verbal, I think, just for time's sake. And the artist then would decide what to make a splash scene and how to introduce the characters and how to unfold the story, which was, at first, terrified me. But almost immediately, maybe in a month or two, I realized, holy mackerel, this is a much better way to do it. Comics succeeded despite doing it the wrong way. It should have always been done visually. Once we made it a visual medium, two things happened. Every artist had his own approach to storytelling, so you had more variety, instead of having a writer's personal approach. Secondly, Stan Lee discovered that after he had the silent drawings, he could now add balloons where he didn't expect to be able to add them. Sound effects could come anywhere he wanted. So he gained freedom, we gained freedom, albeit we gained a lot of time-consuming responsibility, but it also was much more gratifying, and we were able to put our stamp on the thing, and it was wonderful. If anything made comics boom, I think it was that accident of expediency. The Kingpin is my favorite creation. Stan's procedure used to be, he would leave me a little card on my drawing table saying next month the character is going to be called the Kingpin. That's all. No description, no limitations. The sky was the limit. All the criminals, master criminals that Ditko and Jack Kirby had created had a similarity. They were all lean, mean-looking, mustached, with a felt hat and a striped suit. That what I would call the established criminal type. So when he said the Kingpin of crime, I immediately was looking for the most different look that I could. So I fashioned him after a Wall Street tycoon baron type. John Jr.'s run on DareDevil is probably one of the most satisfying things that ever happened, because it turns out that I worked on DareDevil for a short period of time, but I felt like it was mine. He then took a run on it, quite a run. The thing with John Jr. is I didn't have to critique him, because the thing that mattered most was storytelling, which was natural to him. And that comes about from the fact that when I started DareDevil, he was about 9 or 10 years old. And we were plotting stories as a family. So help me, when we were driving to Cape Cod one time, 5 or 6 hours in the car, we were plotting Daredevil stories. He loved it. He took off. He started drawing immediately. From the time he was 10 years old till he was about 15, he just did a million drawings, never showed me one. Never showed me one. He said it wasn't ready for me to look at yet. He said, when it's good, I'll let you see it. And I never intruded. I had known that parents can kill a spark faster than anybody by overdoing, overzealous following and informing and advising. No, I didn't want to do that. So after 6 months, I was in love with Daredevil. And Stan, he asked me, you know, in the third or fourth month, I did a Spider-Man as a guest star. He was trying me out for Spider-Man without my knowledge. So suddenly he comes to me and said, do you think you could do Spider-Man on a monthly basis? And I said, I guess so, but I like to do Daredevil. And he said, Steve Ditko's leaving Spider-Man, would you mind? And I figured, all right, I'll help him out with this. Again, the sap was there. And I really hoped I could get back to Daredevil. I wanted to, somebody had told me that Daredevil's sales had improved while I was on it. And I was feeling great. I was saying, hey, wouldn't it be nice if I could move Daredevil up to be one of the top sellers? But I never had a chance to find out. So that run on Daredevil was like a blissful period of 6 months that I enjoyed myself tremendously. I loved that character. I still to this day think Daredevil's the best character Marvel has.